Have you ever been scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and suddenly stopped because someone else's life looked perfect? Maybe they transformed their body in just a few months. Maybe they built a successful business before turning 30. Or maybe they were sitting in a quiet cafe in New York, reading a book while looking completely at peace. For a moment, you stop scrolling. You think to yourself, I want that life. Then something happens. You make a promise. Tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow, you will finally change. You spend the rest of the evening watching motivational videos. You order new workout clothes. You download a habit tracker. You even set your alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning. Everything feels possible. You go to bed believing that tomorrow is the first day of your new life. The next morning starts exactly the way you imagined. You wake up early. You exercise. You meditate. You drink water instead of reaching for your phone. You finish tasks that you have been avoiding for weeks. For the first time in a long time, you feel proud of yourself. You believe this is the beginning of a completely different future. Then the second day arrives. It is still going well. You have a little less energy, but you keep going. Then comes day 3. The alarm starts ringing. You open your eyes. You tell yourself, just 5 more minutes. 5 minutes becomes 30. Your workout clothes stay exactly where you left them. The book you promised yourself to read never leaves the shelf. Instead, you find yourself lying on the couch, watching random videos while eating a bag of potato chips. Before you even realize it, you are back to your old routine. Does that sound familiar? If it does, you are not alone. Millions of people experience this same cycle every year. They get inspired. They make big promises. They feel unstoppable for a few days. Then everything slowly falls apart. Most people believe this happens because they are lazy. Others think they simply do not have enough discipline. Some even convince themselves that they just are not meant to succeed. But what if none of those ideas are true? What if the real problem is not you? What if the real problem is that you have been relying on motivation all along, because motivation feels powerful? But it is also temporary. It comes with excitement. It disappears when life becomes uncomfortable. The people who build extraordinary lives are not the people who stay motivated every day. They are the people who know what to do after motivation disappears. That is exactly what we are going to explore in this video. You will discover why your brain keeps pulling you toward comfort, why motivation fades so quickly, and how discipline can become something that feels natural instead of exhausting. Because once you understand how your mind really works, everything begins to change. Before you blame yourself for giving up, there is something important you need to understand. You are not broken, you are not lazy, and you are probably not lacking discipline. You simply have a brain that is doing exactly what it was designed to do. For thousands of years, the human brain has been built for one main purpose: survival. That means saving energy whenever possible, avoiding unnecessary effort, and choosing comfort over discomfort. Think about it for a moment. If your ancestors wasted energy every single day, they had a lower chance of surviving. So the brain learned to become incredibly efficient. Even today, your brain still follows that same ancient programming. It is always asking one simple question: what is the easiest option right now? That is why lying in bed feels easier than going for a run. Watching another episode on Netflix feels easier than reading a book. Scrolling social media feels easier than working on your biggest goal. Your brain is not trying to destroy your future. It is simply trying to protect your energy. The problem is that the modern world gives your brain endless shortcuts. Every notification, every short video, every instant reward. They all promise quick pleasure with almost no effort. Compared to that, learning a new skill or building a business feels difficult. Not because you cannot do it, but because your brain naturally prefers the easier path. This is why motivation disappears so quickly. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions constantly change. Some mornings you feel unstoppable, other mornings you do not even want to leave your bed. If your success depends on how motivated you feel, your progress will always move up and down. The people who stay consistent understand something different. They stop fighting against their brain. Instead, they learn how to work with it. And once you understand that simple shift, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It becomes a system that quietly moves you forward, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful chemicals in your brain, dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of happiness. It is not. Dopamine is the chemical of anticipation. It pushes you to seek the next reward. The problem is that today's world is full of instant rewards. The moment you wake up, you grab your phone. You open Instagram, you check TikTok, you read your notifications. Within minutes, your brain receives a flood of dopamine. It feels exciting, but there is a hidden cost. After giving your brain so much stimulation, normal activities begin to feel boring. Reading a book feels slow. Studying feels exhausting. Working on a meaningful project suddenly feels impossible. Not because the work changed, because your brain is now expecting constant entertainment. Imagine eating chocolate all day. After a while, even fresh fruit starts to taste bland. The same thing happens with dopamine. The more instant rewards you consume, the harder it becomes to enjoy activities that require patience. That is why many successful people protect the first hour of their morning. They avoid social media. They avoid unnecessary notifications. They give their brain time to wake up naturally. Instead of chasing instant pleasure, they choose simple habits. They stretch. They write in a journal. They take a walk. They enjoy a quiet cup of coffee. These activities may not feel exciting, but they help reset your brain's reward system. There is another strategy that works surprisingly well. Reward yourself after completing meaningful work. Finish an important task first, then take a short break. Listen to music, go for a walk, talk with a friend. By connecting rewards to productive actions, your brain slowly begins to associate effort with pleasure. Over time, discipline becomes easier, not because you have more willpower, but because your brain starts wanting the habits that once felt difficult. That is how real change begins. You are not forcing your brain to obey. You are teaching it to enjoy the right things. Most people think lasting change begins with setting bigger goals. But psychology tells a different story. Real change begins with identity. Think about the difference between these two statements. I want to exercise, and I am someone who takes care of my health. The first statement describes something you hope to do. The second describes the kind of person you believe you are. That difference changes everything. Every action you take, like casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Every workout is one vote. Every healthy meal is another vote. Every chapter you read, every early morning, every promise you keep to yourself. They all strengthen your new identity. The opposite is also true. Every time you quit too soon, your old identity grows stronger. That is why focusing only on goals often leads to disappointment. Goals can motivate you for a short time. Identity keeps you moving for years. So instead of asking, what do I want to achieve? Try asking, who do I want to become? Once you answer that question, your daily decisions become much easier. You are no longer exercising because you have to. You exercise because that is who you are. You are no longer reading because someone told you to. You read because you see yourself as someone who never stops learning. This shift may seem small, but it changes the way your brain makes decisions. Instead of forcing yourself to act differently, you begin acting in ways that match the person you believe you are. And over time, those small actions become habits. Those habits become your lifestyle. And that lifestyle becomes your future. Long before you see the results, your identity has already started to change. That is how lasting transformation really happens. If this video gave you a new perspective, don't let it end here. Choose just one small action from today's lesson and start today, not tomorrow, not next Monday, today, because real transformation begins with a giant leap. It begins with one small decision, repeated consistently. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And let me know in the comments, what is one habit you are committed to building starting today? Thank you for watching. This is Notes on Being Human. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop becoming the person you were meant to be.